Hello everyone, welcome to Chanukya Tech. In this video, we are going to show you how you can install Visual Studio on your computer. Sometimes you struggle to find what is the correct version to download, or otherwise what are the right steps to follow to install it properly. Don't worry, stay tuned till the end. This video will help you to clear all those doubts and you will understand how you can install Visual Studio successfully. First of all, for a better understanding of everyone, let's see what is Visual Studio. Visual Studio is an integrated development environment provided by Microsoft to computer programmers and software developers to develop various software applications like desktop applications, web applications, web services, mobile applications, etc. Currently, Visual Studio supports around 36 different programming languages, which including Visual Basic, C, C++, C#, Python, JavaScript, XML, HTML, CSS, and so on. Visual Studio has a powerful code editor with many features. Also, it provides you easy debugger options. Further, it contains different visual designers to develop various software applications. Because of these capabilities and its user-friendly nature, Visual Studio became popular in the software industry. If you are a software developer or programmer, sometimes you may already use Visual Studio in your professional life. Otherwise, if you are a student, you may use Visual Studio at your university or college. Sometimes, you may among the individuals who are trying to learn Visual Studio through self-learning at home. Anyway, it doesn't matter which category you are in. Let's jump into it and see how we can do the download and installation. Okay, here we go. First, I open the web browser and just type download Visual Studio. Now on the top of the search results, we can see the link to visualstudio.microsoft.com, which is the official site, so I am going to click on that. Now we are in the Visual Studio official site. The appearance of this website keeps changing from time to time, so don't worry about the way that website loaded when you are accessing. Here under the downloads, you can see the download details for the Windows operating system. As you can see, version 16.8 is the current available version for Visual Studio 2019 for Windows operating system. Sometimes in future, when you are going to download, you will see a newer version. If you scroll down, then you can see there is a separate download option available for Mac operating system as well. Okay, as you can see, there are 3 different Visual Studio editions are available. Here we are going to download Community Edition. That is the free edition. It is mainly provided for students, academics, and learning communities. But don't worry, it contains basic features required for the personal use. Then we can see Professional and Enterprise editions. These are for larger software development teams and organizations that work on commercial software development projects. You can use 90 days trial version of these 2 editions. If you are using the Mac operating system, you can download these editions for Mac as well. Before you start the download, it is always better to read the release note, which mentions system requirement and compatibility details. Once you click on the system requirements link, it will give you complete details. On top, it mentions supported operating system as Windows 10 version 1703 or higher, and there are the details for other supported operating systems as well. Then in the below part, it states recommended hardware configurations. Here it mentions 1.8 GHz processor, 2 GB RAM and minimum free hard disk space. Then you can see supported language details here. Also here we can see some additional requirements as well. Please keep in mind you have to do the installation under the admin privileges. As a part of installation, it will download .NET Framework also into your system. So if it is not up to date, don't worry, it will be updated automatically. According to these details, you can decide whether directly you can go ahead with Visual Studio download. If you have a doubt about what is your current Windows version, what you can do, go to the run window and type winver command. It's WINVER. Just type it and enter. It will show you current Windows version. In my case, it shows Windows 10 version 1909. So I am good to go ahead. But if you have a lower version, which means below 1703, then you have to do Windows Update. In that case, go to Windows Update option and apply the latest update and reboot your system before you start Visual Studio download and installation. Okay, now let's start the download. I clicked on the download button. Now you can see one exe file is downloaded into my system. It is the Visual Studio Bootstrap file, which is normally 1 to 2 MB in size. Once you double click on that, it will start the installation of Visual Studio installer. Here click on the continue button to agree with privacy statement and accept the license terms. Once done, it will open Visual Studio installer. Here in the installer screen, you can see multiple tabs and you can customize your installation as per your requirements. First, you can see the workload option. A workload is a bundle of tools available in Visual Studio that helps you to interact with certain languages and platforms. For example, if you choose the ASP.NET and web development workload, it provides the default code editor, which includes basic set-in support for multiple languages for web application development. Similarly, if you select desktop development with C++ workload, it will provide you Visual Studio features that allow you to run and debug C++ console applications. Now I ticked on ASP.NET and web development workload. So you can see once ticked, the features list is populated on the right hand side. At the bottom, it mentions the total space required for the installation. If I select more workloads, then more features will included into this installation and the required space also gets increased. In this way, you can select any workload and relevant features which will consider for installation. The other three options in the installer screens, individual components, language packs and installation locations, come with their default values. So if you proceed with installation without modifying those values, still you can go ahead. If you don't want to use the workloads feature to customize your Visual Studio installation, or if you want to add more components that a workload installs, in that case you can do that by using this individual components tab. Here you can see some components are already ticked as per the selected workloads. If you modified your workload selection, then the selection of the individual components also get changed automatically. The next tab is language packs. Visual Studio installer automatically select the language as per the language of your operating system. In case if you have any specific language requirements, you can select the preferred language by taking the option listed here. The last tab provides the details about installation location. Here you can modify the locations. In case if you want to improve the performance, you can select a different drive to keep download cache, shared components, SDK and tools, while you keep Visual Studio on the drive which runs faster. Okay, now I am going to start the Visual Studio installation. Here you have two options. One is to install while downloading. The other one is download all and then install. I am going to select the first option. So both download and installation will happen parallel. Now it's started. So it will take some time to complete the installation. Actually, the time depends on the speed of your internet connection. Once this installation is completed, you can see the completion message in the Install tab in the Visual Studio installer. Available tab shows other available Visual Studio editions to download and install. If required independently, you can install these editions also in your system. Now if you go to the Start menu in your system, you can see both Visual Studio and Visual Studio installer options are available there. Now it's time to launch the Visual Studio for the first time. Here, if you already have a Microsoft account, then you can sign in using that. Otherwise, you can create a new account as well. Anyway, at this moment, I am going to skip and continue. Then it asks you to configure some initial settings. If required, you can set your preferred development settings. In my case, I'll keep it as general. Then you can select your color theme. I'll keep the blue as my preferred theme. Nothing to worry. If required, later you can change these settings. Now I'm going to click on Start Visual Studio button. On the right hand side, you can see multiple options to proceed. As this is the first time, I'm going to select Create a New Project option. Okay, then it will ask you to select the project type. As I am going to create a command line application, I'll select the console app project option. Then you have to give the project name. I'm going to give my project name as console app Chanu. Then I'll create a separate folder for my Visual Studio projects and click on the create button. Now this is going to create my first Visual Studio project. Wow! Now my first project is created with Visual Studio. Here you can see the text editor with the content of one of the created files. On top of the window you can see Visual Studio menu bar. On the right hand side you can see a list of files that are part of my first project. In future videos I am going to explain more details about this thing. For now I'm just going to add one line to this code file and run it for you. Here what I am trying to do is I'm going to print hello world, which is mostly considered as the first thing you do when you learn any new programming language. Okay, now I'm going to build my project. It's built successfully. Now I'm going to start my application. Okay, here you can see the console application output, hello world. Now I'm going to press the enter key and exit from this output window. So as we manage to successfully run this application, we can confirm our Visual Studio installation is successful. Later, if required, you can add more workload or individual components to modify option available in Visual Studio installer. Great! That's it for today. So I hope I managed to share some useful details with you. If you enjoyed this video, do like it, leave me a comment below, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. I look forward to see you soon through another video.